Okay, we are in business for today. So we are now already at month number 7. Hard to believe that all this time has gone by. And we're going to be starting on the first block, which on our last row of the houses, because there's 2 blocks in each row. And that is these 3 houses here. There's not really any different techniques in these particular houses. So I don't think our class is going to be too long today, but I also am going to talk about the little mini recipes that Edita has done in the houses. And as you know, as I've been demonstrating, I have made the little miniature ones as well, because I find that easier to hold up for you to the camera, leaving this one the way it is, and just to show you the different pressing and so forth that I've done. Anyway, so we're going to start with house number 18, which is the first one of our block number 7. And it's not a very large house, and it's fairly simple. The roof is just a rectangle, does have a chimney on it, and 1 window, so there's not a lot of pieces, to this particular one. So going through fabric A, which is the roof, is going to be this blue with the little branches on it, okay? And you're only going to be cutting that 1 piece. You're just cutting 1 rectangle. So that one's fairly straightforward there. Then for pieces number B, C, and D are all the house pieces. And I've used this navy blue one with what I call pussy willow blossoms. That's exactly what it looks like to me. And I think most of us can identify with that. So B, C, D, and E are all cut from this one, okay? Then
F.
Oh, and F, sorry. I also cut F, the chimney. I'm looking, where is F? And it's on top of the roof. So I also cut the chimney from this one. If you want to be adventuresome and want to use a scrap from a different one for the chimney, I mean, go ahead. This is your quilt, so you absolutely can. But I've chosen to use the same one, for the chimney. So that's B, C, D, E, and F are all from that one. Then G is the sashing piece, which I've used multiple times through that. So it's this sort of very yellow creamy background with a tiny, tiny blue dot. And you're going to have probably 1 piece in your kit, because I've done that as sashing on 2 houses. So on both house number 18 and house number 19. So from that piece, you should be able to get both. It's G on this particular one. On house number 19, it happens to be E, but it's that fabric, okay? Then H is the window, so 1 little square, and I've chosen the gold with the same print that I used for the roof, okay, with the little branches on it. That's the only piece there. Then I, J, and K are all this background. So they're the ones that are on top of the house. And it is this light cream with a very faint little X on it. Okay, so those are the fabrics that are all in this house. Constructing it, I'll show you from the background. It's like the rest of them I have on the backing. I have pressed everything away from the window. I want that window recessed as much as possible. When I put on this section on top that has the chimney, there, I did press it down towards the roof, and that's mostly because of the multiple seams, but also pressed it towards the dark. And the same thing as I pressed those background pieces in towards the dark piece that was used for the chimney. Now, on my little miniature one, it looks like it's just plain, but it just happens it's so tiny. I guess I just, without really realizing it, got just a plain background there. You won't be able to do it quite that blank on here, because it is a bigger piece. You're bound to get some of the print in there. Okay, so that is fairly straightforward. That was probably one of the easiest houses of all of them that we've done so far. Okay, just put that one aside. And so now I've got house number 19. which is this house here too, which is not a lot of details in that one either. We've got a few strips and rectangle and so forth. Again, the roof on this particular one is just a rectangle. They haven't done any shaping to it at all. So that's my little miniature one. So for house number 19A, as in all the patterns, is the roof piece. I chose this very light blue with kind of the square. It looks like 4-leaf clovers are around the square. I don't know, can you see that in the camera? I think just barely. Okay, so it's very soft. You're cutting one rectangle from that one. Then the house itself, I chose this darker blue fabric that has the gold, and these look like leaves, but there's a bit of gold in there as well. So from this piece, you're cutting B and C. There's not a lot of pieces in this particular house. Then D is, they call this a door, but this is a pretty big door. Almost makes this look like a garage. But I chose this fabric that has the little blue stars on a very light background because I wanted the contrast and wanted it to stand out. Okay, so that's the only one you're cutting from there. You might have a larger piece in there. I don't recall how I set up the kit because I have used the same fabric as sashing for house number 20. So you might have two pieces of that because of the different size needed. But if you don't, you should be able to get both of them out of your piece of fabric, okay? So that's E, and then F is just one piece. And it is the white, it is a Toscana, so it's a tone on tone. It'll look, you'll see a sort of blotches on that of white like that. And that's the background, but again, it's one larger triangle. So it's not too many pieces in this particular house. I'm looking at the back here. What I did, similar to what I do with the windows on this door, garage door, I've pressed everything away from it so that from the front, it recedes. It recedes the most. And then however you press those towards the roof or away from it, there's very little seam, so I'm not worried about bulk on that. And then your sashing piece, which is the E that we talked about in the first house, 18, because it's the same piece of fabric. Then that house comes together quite quickly. So I forgot to ask you if you had any problems with anything from last month. Okay, I didn't think so. I was hoping that if, oh, yes. You mean finishing last month was the problem? Yeah, okay. That is all right.
My grandkids are here.
Oh, I understand.
That's my excuse. The dog ate my homework.
That's okay. One of the beauties of this particular block of the month is that having last month's completed is not required to work on this month. Do you know what I mean? Like there are some patterns when they're set up that way, you're constantly building on something. And so you can't, hop around. You have to complete one particular month before you can move on to the next one. So, okay. And our last house for today is this one here. Looks like a big 2-story house with a really tall door in it. But my little miniature only has 2 windows, and Edita said she set that up on purpose because to try to shrink them, and these other set of windows will be way down here, and it would look odd. It'd look odd. So being the house is shrunk, it shrunk from a 2-story to a 1-story, I guess. Okay. So on this one, I got my fabrics upside down. Again, A is usually the roof piece. And so it's the same print as I've used for the first house, but it's just a slightly darker shade. So not really critical if you happen to get them mixed up, but this is a much smaller, or this is a different shaped roof, so your piece of fabric will be different. So your A piece is the only thing that you're going to cut from this particular fabric. Then we have multiple pieces from the house fabric, which is a little sort of a medium blue with these little branches of white, and there's just a hint of gold in this particular fabric too. And this one you're going to be cutting B, C, D, E, F, which is the chimney, G, and H. So there's quite a few pieces that are cut from this fabric. I would cut, well, I think if you go in order of cutting them, you're going to be fine, because the biggest ones that you're cutting are these longer strips, which is your B and C. Okay, so once you've cut those, I think you'll be fine getting it, because some of these other pieces are small. And so I'm not as worried about getting them out of the fabric. Okay, that makes sense, all those pieces from there? Yeah, I didn't really try to fussy cut anything in particular for the chimney. I'm just double checking what I did when I made that one. Now for J, which is the windows, this is the other gold that I've been using for windows. And it just has little circles and with a little string attached almost to that. And that's J. We're cutting 4 little squares of J for that one. Then I is the sashing piece, as I described before. That is this, let me get it over here, is this very light cream with the navy blue stars. Okay, that is for I, which is the sashing down there. So I missed the I in there before I went on to J. Then we have K, which is the door. So I've used this lighter fabric with a little blue light dots, but it's on a white background. So I use that for the door on this. Okay, that's the only piece you're cutting from that is K. Then L, M, N, and O are all cut from background. And that is this sort of creamy color with a little tiny circle on it. Okay. Now in this particular house, this is the same thing that we've done before, because this roof has some shape to it. So it's where you're starting off with that full rectangle, and the end pieces that you're cutting from background, you're going to draw, you know, the line on the diagonal, and you're going to sew that over there. And then a 1/2 inch away, if you wish to do that, this is where you get 2 bonus half square triangles again when we do this roof. I didn't save them from my miniature one, because they're tinier than I like to work with. I can work with small pieces, but I do have a limit there. The one thing I want you to be wary of, and that is when you're sewing these two, creating this line here, which is the chimney, because you want to make sure that that chimney sits right at the edge there. So don't get your L and M pieces mixed up. They're 2 different lengths. They're the same width, but this one is L is longer than M is. And it's done intentionally that way so that when I do sew it, that you're creating the chimney sits right there at the edge of the roof. Okay. My miniature one worked out. I thought it did, sort of thing. So just to be, you know, aware of that. Showing you the back, the pressing again, I've always pressed in towards the chimney piece so that the chimney stands out a little bit. When I joined the bottom of my house, I mean, these are multiple pieces here where you've got your windows and your door piece. I pressed this up towards the roof. Sometimes I had pressed down. This case I pressed up because of all of these multiple seams along here. I didn't want to press this back this way on that. Sometimes I would press a seam like this down only because I've got these diagonal seams coming in here. And sometimes when you press this down, it creates a lot of bulk in this corner, right in there. Because when you're sewing the houses together, you want them to come right at this point here, because that is your seam, so that it comes in just like it does here where the sashing does. joints, okay? And I've always pressed towards the sashing again because of multiple seams that are intersecting there. I'm just trying to reduce all the bulk on there. Okay, so again, techniques that we've been using all along, constructing the other houses. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the miniature houses, and I've got the first row. I should show you the picture first that Edita has on her website. It's in the back of my binder. Trying to get it out of my page protector. There you go. This is what Edita has done with her little miniature ones. So she has joined her houses together slightly different than what we are in this large one. And she has inserted trees in between. Now, in her pattern, she was referring to how to make the trees, and it's in another pattern which I didn't have. But what I did, and I don't know if any of you do paper piecing, but what I did is I made up that tree so it fits with paper piecing. If you would like a copy of the pattern for the paper piece tree, if you want to let Sarah know at the store, and then with your last kit, like for next month, she'll include a copy of it for you, and then you can make as many copies as you like for the trees. Pretty much what she's done in here is she's got 2 trees in each row just to separate the houses. Okay, so that's just something, if you're interested, you're absolutely welcome to that. And I just thought in the meantime, I don't know if I can see that. So that's the start of row 1. Slowly move it along. And so I've put all those together to create row 1. Probably if I hold it back here, you might see a bit more of it, but it's hard to see on everything. Anyhow, I think it's going to be cute. I have not, in her pattern, she has the finishing about the borders, and I think she has for the stars. I'll have to verify that. But I just thought I'd show you, because when she does what she calls her little mini recipes for this particular pattern, she just gives you the size to cut the different pieces, and they're labeled all the same, you know, the A, B, C, just like we've been doing all along. But in those mini recipes, she does not describe at all about putting them together or anything like that, because you have to have the original pattern, which of course you do because of buying the kits every month. But you know, if you wanted to do that in other fabrics, she does have some that she does in like in a summer fabric, and it looks really cute. This could be something to use scraps on. I think that would be interesting as well. For my purpose, I've done the same fabric. So yes.
Gloria, can we have a picture of the miniature one in our last thing when we pick it up?
I could, but it is on her blog with all of the mini recipes.
I'm a non-computer person. You're lucky I'm zoomed in here.
Okay. Okay, I understand that. So
thank you.
So you want a copy of this?
Yes, please.
That I can do that for you. Not a problem. Okay, and Donna, what's your last name so I get the right Donna?
Williams.
It's Campbell. Campbell.
Campbell, okay.
Yeah.
For Donna Campbell, she wants a picture of this with her kit too. So she's not really fond of the computer, so. All right. So yeah, or I can print it at home and bring it in too. That's fine. So Donna Campbell, I want to get the right one. Then do you also want for the paper piece tree?
I've already, yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that's fine. I will leave that with Sarah anyway. And then she'll include that in your last kit.
Could I have a copy of the paper piece tree?
Yes, absolutely.
please?
Yeah.
Yes,
Not a problem.
okay. And I'm Donna Williams,
All righty.
but I'm not doing the miniature one. I'm making something else and I think that would work for, at least I could see how you did it. I'm doing the village with the houses and trees, so
Okay. Yeah.
I
Now,
think,
I didn't number the pieces. Are you familiar enough with paper piecing, or do you want me to know?
I would, yeah, I can paper piece, but I do like the numbers.
Okay. I will do that.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I look at a pattern and go, yeah, I know what has to go first. So,
Okay, no.
no, all righty.
I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet. Okay, I will
No.
do that on my my original before we copy that, just in case somebody else
Mhm.
isn't aware of it either, and that's fine. So,
Okay. Thank you.
okay, well, you're very welcome. It is my pleasure. This didn't take me long to draw up, so that's all right to make a tree that's 7 inches tall and finishes 6.5 like all the rest of them will. So, okay, well, that is it for today. And unless you have any other questions? No? Okay. Well, I hope wherever you are, you get some rain too, because I think everywhere they need it. And I'm so grateful for air conditioning, as I'm sure everybody else is. Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Gloria.
You're welcome. Have a good month, and I'll see you in September.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye now.